There's one other thing also for these hospital environments and everything else. You have antibacterial body washes, which works the same way as what you should be doing with floors. The antibacterial body wash, Dove, the best of it, antibacterial Dove body wash, it uses vitamin C to have the antibacterial effect because what vitamin C dissolves any and all sugars, plus doesn't allow itself to be coated by sugar, which means also any and all bacteria, which they all allow coating by sugar, means that the vitamin C destroys the sugar coating and then destroys the bacteria DNA because it isn't higher or heavier atomic weight. And that's why the same thing, Dove antibacterial body wash in springtime scent, has the moisturizer and all that. But see, you have to leave it on at least 4 or 5 minutes to have the antibacterial effect, because it isn't necessarily a bad acid, but it's something that is an atomic weight, doesn't allow sugar to coat it. And because of that, it just takes more of it to dissolve more volatile things like gasoline, kerosene, turpentine, all that other stuff, alcohol. It just takes more of it, but it still destroys it all. Because those other toxic substances aren't really bacteria, but it has the same destroyed effect, rip it apart. But that's how vitamin C does deal with it all. Vitamin C is your insulin because it, no matter what, dissolves the sugar. And see, when it guaranteedly, no matter what, dissolves the sugar, it also means all these other bacteria that are bacteria DNA, which is your mildew, it guaranteedly destroys any and all of them. So that you make sure you have a high 3 times a day of vitamin C. That's no matter what, it dissolves the sugar, going to protect it, and then it guaranteedly destroys the bacteria DNA, and that's when it's in the body. Outside the body, it's your hair. And that's the same way for keeping your floors and everything sterile. That is, when it's in the hospital, when you wash the floor, use your dishwashing soap that's antibacterial, which is the vitamin C doing it. Same thing. It leaves the residue of vitamin C, which is orange juice, basically. And then see if it gets wet. When people walk on it, it isn't going to infect them. It isn't going to hurt them or anything. While it's still there, will destroy any and all bacteria DNA. It'll destroy it if it gets wet, that it can't go absorbed into the body, and then, coat by sugar be a problem. That any and all floors should have that residue wash off. But when they sterilize it by bleach or anything else, that evaporates, and then there's nothing to discourage the growth of the bacteria. That's why vitamin C is important no matter what, everywhere. And it is. And that's also why for doctors and everything else, they always say and had been saying, well, don't sterilize because you'll get drug-resistant bacteria. No, they're supposed to be doing the same, using the Dove antibacterial body wash, which is you put it on, you let it soak 4 minutes while you shave your legs and wash your hair and everything else. And by that time, it's time to rinse off. Your whole body's been sterilized by vitamin C. And then after that, it keeps discouraging because it's vitamin C and anything on there. And then see, it's for the rest of their time, their occupation, like surgeons and all nurses and all that, it's the elbows forward. You got to mandate no hair. And then that is where from arms or elbows forward and everything, well, that's when just the surface disinfectant, like Johnson's baby shampoo, that is one side of the molecule is water, prefers water, while the other side of the molecule, those two link, likes solids. And a surface disinfectant, which Johnson's Baby Shampoo is, it's the higher ratio of water has the weight carried off, but the other side, the molecule touches anything solid, matter, it grabs it and takes it off there, that it isn't there to be damaging anything. And that's also the same way, that's what's for your hair, because your hair is bacteria. The Johnson's Baby Shampoo cleans it off and everything else, but in order for your hair to grow and stay thick and looking luscious, it has to be able to get the water out of the hair and an additional mildew or bacteria from the hair, that where it can add more, thicken, and it is mildew, to where it thickens and everything else to thicken your hair. When you put the oil cream rinses on there, it can't get the moisture, it can't get additional bacteria to thicken or keep it thick growth. No, that's why it thins out and you start getting split ends and stuff, because you made it impossible for it to keep multiplying and replacing itself. That's why when you do it right with Dove or with Johnson's Baby Shampoo, it keeps it shiny and it stays shiny way longer. But when you use the oil rinses, you only got like a half hour of looking shiny, and then that oil is grabbing dirt out of the air to grease it up, dull it, and then you're still not making it to where it can't get water in and out of there or any additional mildew to collect together and keep thickening your dreadlocks or your regular hair. And all of it is mildew. It's all photons, iron, rust on a photon, or the photon itself. That's all determined by sugar atomics, exactly where all the way back through it works or don't. And that's the same thing with it all, that it's an important thing to note. Where all your surgeons and everybody in the hospital is use the Dove antibacterial for the entire body, and then the rest of the day is just elbows forward. Don't allow hair to remove it, including bag of hands, because anything going in and out, you're always brushing it, and that's breaking it loose. And that's the bacteria and stuff from the hair on your arms going into the air. No, require from elbows forward that there's no hair on it or whatever, but that's also the surface disinfectant of the equivalent of Johnson's Baby Shampoo, because otherwise, if you use regular soaps or anything else, it causes drying out, it causes cracking, and then you're bleeding, and then right back to infecting everything and making everybody sick. They are right about that. For the arms, elbows forward, don't be sterilizing, because that also dries out everything else. Well, they just didn't realize that different percentage of right time and right place. And the more you remove from the rest of your body, as far as hair goes, is you don't stink. Most of my life, the only hair I had was a beard and everywhere else, none. And that's also 4 days I still don't stink, because there's no bacteria there to put it back. And it's similar for others. And you can also, that's the other thing important about your face and everything else, especially kids. When you don't be touching your face at all, because every time you touch your face, you're putting bacteria on there to infect. Like when you're going to go do homework and all that, or it might be leaning on your head or whatever, it's make sure and wash your hands and face first, that you're not putting the bacteria on there. And the number 2 thing is never sterilize face, especially around hairline. That stuff you use to wash your face with to try to fight all that is also where you sterilize, and then that's why your hairline recedes. Because you sterilized it, it destroyed and sterilized the bacteria, which is your hair, gone for the hair follicles. And it's all common sense, just realize it, and easy fix, there ain't a problem, life gets awesome again. But also realize the sun outside sterilizes. It's cover your head if you're starting to have thinning hair. To have an awesome day.